I've got my top 10 must-add hitters for this week in fantasy baseball, and that list is coming up next on Beat the Odds. Don't go anywhere. Hello, sports fans, and welcome back to another episode of Beat the Odds. I'm going to give you my top 10 must-add hitters for Week 6 in fantasy baseball. If you like this content, then please smash that like button. A special thanks goes to all of our subscribers who have been watching these videos, as you now account for 15% of all viewers. To the other 85% of viewers that haven't yet subscribed, I encourage you to do so, as it helps me create these videos for you. Also, leave a comment on a player that you think deserves to be on this list. Do you have a burning fantasy baseball question? Ask me on Q. Go to askmeonq.com/beattheodds, submit your question, and for a small fee, I will personalize a response and send it to your email. It's super easy to do, and it's a great way to get fantasy baseball advice while also supporting this channel. Now let's kick off the list. At number 10, we have Josh Smith, 14% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 8 runs scored, a homer, 5 runs batted in, and a .273 average. We're starting off this list with a couple of utility men. Smith has been doing his job at the plate, especially in recent games. He has almost a 10% walk rate, and that's given him a .393 on-base percentage for the season. On the Rangers squad, that's going to almost immediately turn into a healthy amount of runs. He's getting the playing time due to an injury to Josh Young, but Smith is certainly worth the play until he gets back. Let's go to number 9. We have Tyler Freeman, 22% owned, 8 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 2 homers, 6 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .242 average. If I were to have asked you which Freeman has had the better 14 days, most would say Freddie, but that's just simply not the case. The Guardians' new number 2 hitter has put together a productive start to his campaign. He's capable of double-digit homers and steals, and his expected batting average is currently 29 points higher than his current batting average. I'd say to keep your eye on him. Let's go to number 8. We got Ryan Jeffers, 35% owned, 8 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 2 homers, 8 runs batted in, and a .364 average. I don't think I've ever featured 3 catchers in a top 10 hitters list. I actually will be this week. The Twins admittedly are a mess on offense right now, but you can't ignore the fact that they are prioritizing Jeffers' spot in the lineup. He's leading off against the Angels, and it looks like he's going to be a fixture in the top third of the lineup for the time being. It might be time to review your catcher situation and see if you got room for Jeffers. Moving on to number 7, we got Brian De La Cruz, 53% owned. Over the last 2 weeks, he's got 6 runs, 4 homers, 13 runs batted in, a stolen base, and a .269 average. The dynamic outfielder has been cashing in on his run-scoring opportunities of late. There are some obvious holes in his swing, but there isn't any real incoming bats that's going to challenge De La Cruz right away. He makes good use of the entire field, and he should continue that trend all season. Oh, and don't throw him a fastball. He's currently hitting .327 against them this season. Moving on to number 6, we got Edouard Julien, 51% owned, 9 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 4 homers, 6 runs batted in, and a .229 average. Julien is turning into a 3 true outcomes type of hitter. He will get a favorable spot in the Twins order because he's shown a keen ability to get on base, despite an expected batting average of almost 200 to start the year. He's also barreling balls at a very high rate, and has popped 7 homers in 93 plate appearances so far this season. If he can improve on his 31.2% strikeout rate, he may turn into a solid 4th-category contributor. Let's go to number 5. We have Mark Canha, 33% owned, 8 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 3 homers, 10 runs batted in, and a .298 average. The book on Mark Canha has already been written. He's going to be able to use his ability to be very selective at the plate to make his swings count. That has led to a very favorable spot on a Tigers lineup that has been effective enough to pick up a few wins to start the season. Not that I'd expect Canha's production to continue at the rate that it has been, but he might be up for a 90-run, 20-homer, 85 runs batted in season when it's all said and done. Let's go to number 4. We have Tyler Stevenson, 11% owned, 8 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 3 homers, 7 runs batted in, and a .212 average. There might not be another hitter in the league whose StatCast page does not match up with his current statistics. He's among the lead leaguers in barrel percentage and hard hit percentage. He is walking in over 13% of his plate appearances. I would almost guarantee that his luck is going to start to turn, and when it does, we're going to start to see some results that are more in line with what we should be expecting from him this season. Let's go to number 3. We got Brenton Doyle, 21% owned, 9 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, a homer, 3 runs batted in, 4 stolen bases, and a .378 average. We didn't hear much about Doyle in his rookie season outside of his terrific closing speed on fly balls and his incredible arm. Now we are starting to get a glimpse of what he can accomplish with the bat. He has been lucky with an XBA 75 points lower than his current .330 batting average, but his ability to run out infield hits will do that at times. He is capable of a 15 homer, 30 stolen base season if it all falls into place for him. Moving on to number 2, we got Travis d'Arnaud, 57% owned, 7 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 5 homers, 11 runs batted in, and a .367 average. The Braves are extremely blessed to have d'Arnaud in the lineup. With Sean Murphy out with injury, d'Arnaud has stepped in, and the team hasn't missed a beat on offense. In fact, I'd argue that it might be tough to limit his plate appearances once Murphy does actually return. I believe we might see a timeshare similar to the one that we had last season. Wouldn't worry too much about that now, and I'd run with d'Arnaud in your lineups. And finally, at number 1, we've got Wilyer Abreu, 44% owned, 10 runs scored over the last 2 weeks, 2 homers, 9 runs batted in, 4 stolen bases, and a .366 average. Welcome to your new cleanup hitter for the Bo Sox. The way he's played, coupled with the injury to Tristan Casas, will give Abreu some leash to stay in that spot. I like his aggressiveness on the bases, as he runs a lot for a player with middling speed. He did the same thing in the minors, so it's not a fluke. His role will likely change once the team is healthy, but scoop up the 5-tool contributor and ride the wave while he's hot. And that's going to do it here for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like on the video and of course subscribe to the channel for more content like this. I'm going to sign off for now, but I will catch you guys on the next episode.